This is a guide to culture and business in Vietnam. Vietnam is a country located in the southeast of Asia. It borders China on the south and Laos on the east. The country accounts with about 90.5 million inhabitants, and it is the 8th most populous country in Asia. Vietnam is known for its rich culture full of traditions, respectful and kind people. In the economic world, it is recognized for being a very stable economy in regards of gross domestic product, foreign investment, and inflation rates. Religion. The main religions seen in Vietnam are Vietnamese for religion, Buddhism, Catholicism and Christianity, and other. The Vietnamese for religions are Dao Bu Song Ki Huon, which takes some of its religious traditions from elements of Buddhism, Minh Dao, which is focused in literature, helping the poor and worship, Dao Tu and Hieu Gia, has around 80,000 practitioners, and it's especially from farmers throughout the south of Vietnam. Dao Mao is a folk religion that worships the various mother goddesses from Vietnam. Other religions are Caodanism, Protestantism, Hoa Haonism, Taoism, Confucianism, Hinduism, Islam, Orthodox Christianity, and irreligion. Languages. Languages in Vietnam are mainly influenced by the immigrants and the governments. The national and official language of Vietnam is Vietnamese, and it is spoken by a great part of the population. Other great number of languages are spoken. The minority languages of those from the ethnics are Thai, Muong, Cham, Khmer, Chinese, Nong, and Hmong. On the other hand, French is spoken by many as a second language, since there was once a French colony and made Vietnam a member of the Francophonie. And lastly, English language is spoken especially in the major cities. However, it is very difficult to find it in remote areas of Vietnam. Customs. Here are some of the many special customs about this enchanting and mysterious country. Vietnamese people strongly believe in fortune tellers, astrologers, palm readers, and soothsayers. Many people visit one of these advisors at least once a year. The aligning of stars and the lunar calendar are things that rely seriously on how they make decisions. For instance, if the years of the lunar calendar are not compatible, they might be taking big risks since decisions can affect negatively. Worshipping ancestors is a tradition that has endured centuries. The Vietnamese worship their dead relatives and other few heroic ancestors, and it can be on the day of their death or one of the many festivals and moon days. It is said that ancestors repay their worshippers with a good luck, fortune, or advice. The living make offerings to them in order to thank them for their prosperity. They have three strong convictions about this. Regarding life as a small part of an infinitely greater whole embracing the entire race, a belief that the past and present exist simultaneously, and a certitude that each individual's behavior in life has a direct impact upon the quality of their lives and their children and grandchildren. The values in culture follow 4 pillars of values introduced by the influence of the Chinese culture and the Confucianism. These are the good name. It refers to a person's reputation. They try to create a good image of themselves in front of others because they think that it makes them worthy of respect and admiration. Respect is instilled in the Vietnamese culture starting from home. Every person deserves and gives respect to every other individual. Learning. Knowledge is one of the most valued things in Vietnamese culture. People who are in constant learning or have wisdom are highly respected. And family. Every citizen carries the name of their family in all of their actions. They are meant to make everything to make their families proud and look for the well-being. Those who act badly dishonor their families and bring shame to them. Traditions. There is a large number of ethnic groups which make this country one of the most diverse in the world. Some of the aspects of this country's culture are influenced by the Chinese since they ruled Vietnam for around 1,000 years. The ethnic is made by a predominant group and others several small ones. The biggest is the King group, which represents the 85.7% of the population, and then the list follows, which is Thai, Muong, Merkrom, Hmong, Nung, Chinese, Dao, and others. Funerals are very solemn celebrations. The Vietnamese believe that there are other 2 or 3 generations after death. They dismiss from their relatives and loved ones, and they keep a tradition that lasts approximately a year after the death, and then they follow the worship. There are numerous celebrations during a year in Vietnam. Here I mention some of the most relevant, like Tết Nguyên Đán, which is the Lunar New Year. In the celebrations, families gather, spend their time cleaning and decorating their houses, and it lasts 3 days. Le Phat Đán is the birthday of Shakyamuni Buddha, on which they pay appreciation and gratitude. Pagodas are decorated, there are parades, and they make offerings to monks, and pagodas give away presents to the most needy people. Tet Nguyen Tu means weather, first, and night. They celebrate the first moon of the year. They visit pagoda to pray, and then they eat special food around the place. Yo Tu Hung Vong is a celebration of Hung King, the very first king of Vietnam. They offer food and gratitude to the king and the descendants. Tet Doan Go means weather, begin, and the 5th month of the lunar year. They commemorate and remember Quoc Nguyen, a talented Chinese officer who killed himself because of being slighted by the king. Le Vu Lang, or the Ghost Festival, is one of the many days when people worship their ancestors, visit pagoda, and do volunteer work. Tet Trung Tu is directed mainly to the children, who receive different types of gifts, especially lanterns. There is a festival and ancestor offerings. Tam Tang Mua is when religioners and non-religioners go to pagoda and follow a vegetarian diet for 3 days. Business etiquette. What is the correct business etiquette in Vietnam? Here are some good tips that you can use when making businesses with this enigmatic country. Probably one of the most important aspects is creating a good relationship between your business partners. One good way to do it is learning about them. Share information about yourself, even about your personal life. Vietnamese feel more comfortable when they know about your family and your hobbies. It helps them to get to know you better. Invest time in your partner. If you have the opportunity, use an introduction by a third party. A good reference from a partner will be on your benefit. Punctuality is key. Be always on time for meetings. Make appointments with enough time beforehand and respect their traditional celebrations. They take them very serious. Handshaking or hand joining always shows respect for others. You can even use a two-handed handshake and a bow. When in a group, address first to the older people and then let them always be first when entering and speaking. Presenting business cards makes part of the etiquette, but make sure of delivering with both hands, showing respect. Vietnamese like gifts, so you can make them one at the end of a meeting or a business lunch. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. You can give them something with the logo of your company, or why not, giving them something representative from your country. Be conservative with how you dress. Suits and dresses are appropriate. Vietnamese take their time when making decisions, so it is important that you don't put any kind of pressure on them and remain patient. It is important that every document you present there is in Vietnamese language. If necessary, you can hire an official Vietnamese translator. Learn about laws and regulations. It will give you more confidence and understanding of the terms of your business with them. Why is it good to make business in Vietnam? Along the last decades, Vietnam has experienced a fast-growing economy which pace has sped up in the 4 last years. Vietnam's gross domestic product per capita has increased by 350% since 1991, and it is second only to China. Foreign investment accounts for 8% of Vietnam's gross domestic product, which makes them the highest in the ASEAN. The country has kept inflation rates steady for several years. Since the country has a large population, installing a business in Vietnam that requires labor force is a great benefit. You can find highly skilled people to develop different tasks. Taxation policies are beneficial for foreign investors as separate policies allow tax breaks. They have simplified 38 custom procedures and removed 7 of them. 7 tax policies have been made easier to implement, and 1 of them has also been removed. This means that investors would be able to save a total working hour of 420 hours. This is why it's important to make business in Vietnam and keep into account their culture and their business etiquette.